The first-generation Hyundai Tucson is gradually losing value. On the one hand, this makes it a very profitable purchase, and on the other hand, the car is distinguished by strong technical health and good maintainability. In general, for the buyer of a used copy, the comprehensive benefit is obvious. The history of Tucson is interesting. It was named after a provincial town in Arizona because it was created specifically for the American market. The debut of the car took place in early 2004 at the Chicago Auto Show. Already in the spring, the crossover debuted in Europe, and a little later it appeared in Ukraine. Tucson has taken root in our market and has become a bestseller due to the optimal combination of price and quality. At one time, the car was even produced in Ukraine at the Cherkasy plant of the Bogdan Corporation. The range of Hyundai Tucson engines consisted of a 2.0-liter petrol 4, 140 horsepower, and a 2.7-liter V6, 173 horsepower, as well as a 2-liter turbodiesel with a return of 140 and 150 horsepower. A 5-speed manual or a 4-band automatic were combined with a 2-liter gasoline engine. V6 aggregated exclusively with automatic transmission. In addition to it, a 6-speed mechanics was installed on diesel cars. The compact Tucson does not have a spacious interior and good transformation opportunities, and the trunk is still small. The quality of the interior trim cannot be called high, but its assembly is at a decent level. Tucson is well stocked. All versions sold in Ukraine were equipped with ABS with brake force distribution system (EBD), frontal airbags, air conditioning, heated front seats, electric windows and mirrors. The most popular Tucson engine on our market is a 2-liter gasoline engine. It can work on both 95th and 92nd gasoline. However, this does not mean that poor quality fuel is acceptable. Otherwise, lambda probes will periodically fail. It happens that the mass airflow and crankshaft position sensors deteriorate. The motor is also demanding on the quality of the oil. If it is low, the hydraulic valve responsible for changing the valve timing may fail. On the 4s, valve clearances are prescribed to be set every 90,000 kilometers. As a rule, adjustment by selecting the thickness of the washers is required on engines with a mileage of under 200,000 kilometers. By 80,000 kilometers, the wireframe of the exhaust corrugation is spreading. The original part is not cheap. In the V6 engine, conventional platinum spark plugs can be used instead of regular ones. True, to replace the 3 candles of the right row of cylinders, it is necessary to remove the intake manifold. If the worn-out candles are not updated in time, the ignition module will soon have to be changed. Periodic attention will also be required by the timing belt, which is replaced strictly after 60,000 kilometers. Moreover, on the V6, every second belt replacement should be done at the same time as the pump. It does not last more than 120,000 kilometers. Diesel modifications occasionally come across in the secondary market. Often they were brought from Europe, where such versions were very popular. Glow plugs must be changed at the very first sign of their failure, otherwise the starter, which does not tolerate prolonged loads, will soon fail. The fuel pump and injectors can easily last up to 250,000 kilometers, provided that high-quality diesel fuel is used. Manual transmissions are basically trouble-free. In them, only every 90,000 kilometers should the oil be changed, otherwise the synchronizers may fail. The clutch serves an average of 120,000 kilometers and even more. True, if a crossover is used instead of a tractor, it will have to be updated 2 to 3 times more often. In an automatic transmission, due to long slipping, the clutch pack quickly wears out. The interaxle electronically controlled clutch may also burn out. In the McPherson-type front suspension, after 50,000 kilometers, the stabilizer struts wear out, but its bushings can last twice as long. However, their replacement is associated with certain inconveniences. They usually use a special tool or unscrew the subframe. Ball bearings serve about 90,000 kilometers. Silent blocks of the front levers hold about the same amount. Shock absorbers take care of an average of 120,000 kilometers, and they are usually changed simultaneously with the strut bearings, which by this time are completely worn out. Steering tips with rods become unusable by 100,000 kilometers. Brake pads last an average of 30,000 kilometers, and discs last 3 pad changes. Both gasoline engines are reliable and have a toothed belt in the timing mechanism drive, the service life of which is 60,000 kilometers. On a used Tucson, it is better to change it immediately. Diesel versions should not be avoided. The main thing is diagnostics. Manual transmissions are considered maintenance-free, but mechanics advise changing the oil after 90,000 kilometers. From long slipping in the snow or off-road in the machine, Especially with the V6, the clutch package can burn out, as well as the electronically controlled clutch fails. In the front suspension with McPherson struts, by 70,000 kilometers you will have to change the stabilizer struts and tie rod ends. The rest of the parts last longer. The rear suspension with a multi-link design will require the first costs after 120,000 kilometers. This does not apply to the stabilizer struts, whose average service life is 80,000 kilometers, as well as to bearings, sometimes not cared for even 50,000 kilometers. The body is well protected from corrosion, but the paintwork is weak. When buying a car, check whether the front left fender liner is intact, behind which the mounting block is installed. The axis of the wiper gear quickly turns sour,